Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Smile, Leah. Smile on the camera. Smile for the people. Today is the 20th of December, 2019. Today, what is
Trump's
today?
your president. He's still the president. Trump's your president. He's still the president. Trump's your president. He's still the president.
Oh
He's
my
still
gosh.
the president.
So-
He's still the president.
Do you guys know that there were many Democrats that woke up yesterday morning gleefully excited that Trump out of office? Boy, he gone. You seen him? He gone. You seen him? He out of there. You seen him? He gone. And then, as they're going about their Twitter feed, imagine this scenario for a second. You're going through your Twitter feed and you're so excited. Trump's going out of office. We won. My life is awesome. And then you're starting to see these posts that say Trump's still president. He's the president. And you're like, wait, what? Like, are people be pulling my leg? They told me he was going to be taken out of office. I need to know. And then you start researching. And then you look up what happens when a president gets impeached in the House. There's still more to come. They got stuff to do. And Nancy's still holding on to these articles. She hasn't even passed them on. He's still the president. And then we see liberal tears. People be crying. People be crazy. It's
So
beautiful.
here's a screenshot from Paul Joseph Watson. People woke up yesterday. Trump's no longer president, y'all. He is not a president and no longer POTUS. He is impeached. We should no longer care about what he says, give his hatred any credence. Is it true that Trump is no longer president? Finally, the rest of the world can go to bed knowing that Trump is no longer president. Well done, America. Also, he's no longer President Trump. You can call him Mr. Trump. Looking forward to his meltdown. Trump can no longer run for president, but you are right. I'm very happy to hear that Trump is no longer president. This is the best day ever. America got an early Christmas present. Donald Trump is no longer the president. Trevor Noah is going to have a field day with this. Trump is gone. This from a blue checkmark person, by the way.
I'm trying to find that tweet. Oh, here it is. All right, I'm pulling this up so y'all people can
Donald
see it
Trump
yourself.
is no longer president. Woohoo, I'm so happy. Donald Trump is no longer president. Woot. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of these all over Twitter. And I don't actually blame them, okay? I really don't. Because I did get a message from a viewer saying, what's going on? Is Trump
Hang on. That viewer had an excuse. They're from the United Kingdom, okay? I understand if they don't understand our political process. But if you graduated from high school, heck, if you made it to the 9th grade, you ought to know what the political process is about getting impeached. But because you don't, that is why we are here today.
Yeah, and so, if you didn't know this, Bill Clinton was impeached during his first term by the House of Representatives.
Yes, he was.
He was acquitted by the Senate, and he went on to win a second term.
Right.
And so that is what we are going to discuss today.
Okay.
Because before all of this, Donald Trump was losing to every Democrat candidate in the polls. And now USA Today has an article out this week that shows Donald Trump beating every Democrat candidate, and even CNN's polls we know are highly rigged. Even
Very
CNN's polls are seeing a closing of the gap.
It's beautiful.
By mega points. So we're going to play that.
By mega points. I saw what you did there.
We're going
what you did there.
go like this with your lips. You got a little something, a little black something. No. You got a little something on this lip. On
Was
this,
it
your
the
other side.
cookie
Right
that
there.
I
Keep going.
ate?
No, it's something black.
Ow!
Wait, I was trying to get it quickly.
You just smacked me in
No,
my face.
I was trying to get it quickly.
Tune into Resistance Chicks if you want to see a sister beat another sister.
I was trying to get it quickly.
Now I have uneven lip gloss.
What's this black dot look like?
Pizza pepper. Nice.
It was nice.
No, it
You want to
wasn't.
walk around all day with your zipper down?
I don't want to be smacked in the face.
It wasn't smack.
today.
Nobody heard a smack. No smacking.
Oh my goodness. All right. So Nello, the fellow CEO on Twitter, says America is a republic though. So the so-called election is BS. Jakey 007 says the impeachment will never get through the Senate.
Exactly. And so that's what we're talking about here. This was a partisan vote by the House of Representatives. We talked about this before. We're going to say it again. Nancy Pelosi was asked, hey, don't you think you're pushing this a little bit too quickly? We played the clip. She said...
She's messing with her teeth. You know she's got false teeth. She's messing with her teeth. She said, no, we've been going after this for 2.5 years.
2.5 years. We had Rashida Tlaib saying we're going to impeach the mother Blanker as soon as she's elected in 2018, and she's gleeful. Nancy Pelosi has to quiet the House of Representatives who want to cheer. You can try to find that clip if you want.
How do you...
It's like she did a Caesar Milan on the House as soon as they passed it. Find that clip for her. Okay. So we're going to kind of go over this for you guys today, kind of explain it. Yeah. We're going to play some of the
Nancy
Pelosi was asked. It's like she tried from the House during the quote impeachment debacle, shenanigans, hoopla, whatever. I wanted to kind of show off my shirt, this Christian girl shirt.
Is it on YouTube? This Nancy
Eric
clip?
and Terry today. I love this shirt. It's got
it didn't come today. Awesomeness. That's what you're wearing today.
I didn't say today.
It says it came from Eric and Terry today.
I didn't say today.
You did.
I'm wearing it today. Okay.
Is it on Twitter? I mean Facebook. I mean YouTube.
Sure. Nancy quiets Democrats during impeachment announcement. I'm sure it's there. So I'm going to play a couple clips. Why does Trump call everybody the fake news? This is a really good clip here from Dinesh D'Souza.
Americans have been trained to think when they turn on the channel, hey, that's the stuff that happened yesterday. They don't realize the process of selection that went into establishing what we call the news. So Trump's been calling it fake news, but I think what Trump means is the news is biased, but the degree to which it is rigged from the outset. I mean, there are important stories that aren't even covered, right? As you know. And so I think people are only now waking up to it. Under Reagan went above the heads of the media. So in a way, Reagan thwarted the media, but he never challenged the media. So at the end of Reagan, the media was just the same. Nobody, whereas Trump is more like a bull who's charging into the, he's in the fray. And I think what Trump has done is he's forced the issue and has forced people to think about what really is news. Who are these people and how do they get to say what's important and what happened yesterday, what matters and what doesn't. So I think people are for the first time beginning to rethink all that stuff.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's funny.
Okay, here we are.
It's really funny.
We're going to show you this Nancy.
So they
did
vote to impeach Trump.
All right.
And while she's announcing it, watch her.
Why did she shush him though? That's mine.
Because you're not allowed to. It's supposed to be. They told everybody it was a somber and solemn moment.
Okay, yeah.
So they didn't want to appear like they were at a football game and winning a touchdown.
Right.
Okay. She's like, I pray for the president. This is a desperate
time. She literally says nobody takes joy in doing this.
Exactly.
Liar
pants on fire.
I thought that you said that you never lie because you a Catholic. Oh, now we got an ad. Here, we're going to skip this ad. Look, it's already muted. That's helpful.
That Nancy Pelosi gave the Democrats after the Trump impeachment vote. So many people, including the news stations, missed what was really going on here. In this quick video, I'm going to show you what happened and explain the news station's spin on it. And then I'm going to tell you what I see going on behind the scenes. As a social coach, that's what I do on this channel. I break down what's really going on in social interaction so you can understand. So what all the news stations say was after the Trump vote for impeachment was approved, the Democrats went wild and Nancy Pelosi scolded them like a third grade teacher scolding her students as she had warned them to give no response after the vote came in. Okay, that's the narrative that all the news stations are saying. But let's watch this clip.
Article 1 is adopted. The question is on adoption of Article 2. The question is on the adoption of Article 2. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. No. The ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Okay, what was really going on behind the scenes right there? It's not as intuitive as what everyone's saying. Pelosi is a seasoned vet in politics. She's been in the game for a long time and she knows what's going on. So think about this. Would she really, knowing all the cameras and all the news stations are there on her, Do you think she would slip up and make that rebuking action unintentionally? She knew that was going to be seen, and she knew it was going to get blown up. So this wasn't like a slip, like all of a sudden they went crazy and she had to correct them and didn't realize what she was doing. This is completely planned, okay? So what is this show? Why did she plan to do this? Because by her addressing it, it makes it even a bigger deal. You know, if she wouldn't have wanted to address it, if she would have wanted to downplay that to really like not have any reaction from the Democrats, she would have just completely ignored it. You know, the mic isn't on them. You can hear a little bit, but if she would have completely ignored it and continued on to the next thing, that would have minimized the impact. But she knew by addressing it with that little dismissive hand wave or the corrective hand wave that it would make a bigger deal out of it and call more people's attention to it, which is what she wanted to do. Have you ever heard of the term emotional reactiveness? It's basically an overarching theory that says people respond emotionally to other people that they think have higher status than them. Like,
all right, I think they got that. They got the idea.
You got the idea. You got the idea. So I want to give you the good news from the outset as we kind of go into this. This from CNN. President Donald Trump is now surging in the general election polls. CNN's Camarada, do we have any sense why? Blaze TV says, who wants to tell her? Who wants to tell her? I do. I want to sit down with her. Now remember, I'm going to show you a USA Today article that has Trump beating everybody. Higher numbers. But these are CNN's own numbers. And you know that they had, Hillary winning. And so their polls are rigged.
Right.
But to watch these polls, even as they are for CNN, this is pretty damning. And I watched Tucker Carlson last night. Did you know we haven't flown in a long time. So I never really paid attention to...
It's been like 2 years, man.
That's what I mean. I hadn't flown until I flew 2 years ago.
You hadn't flown until you flew.
And CNN's playing everywhere.
Okay.
And... just that little bit of being in the airports and CNN being everywhere, it's disconcerting.
It's everywhere.
I'm like, why is CNN everywhere? Because they spend $6 million a year to have it everywhere in the
They've got to be operating in the red. Like, I have to tell you.
They pay for it.
Yeah.
They pay it. Okay.
CNN.
Whoa, that's really loud CNN in my ear. And that's the wrong thing there.
It was working earlier.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, because I had this on yesterday. Open the sound settings.
Oh my word!
Let me read some comments here.
There just went. I think it hurt. Did you?
Okay, I heard it. No, it just went off.
Breaking news.
Okay, it just went off.
So last night, if you missed our show, you need to go back and watch it. But the reason why the volume is coming out of the television is because I had your laptop hooked up and I had it chosen to be coming out of the TV.
You did.
I did that.
You had it chosen.
So. All right. So on Periscope, let's see. Champagne Chachi says, are y'all the White Diamond and Silk? We could never be them. They are too awesome. We could literally never be them. No. We're definitely I think we're like two halves of the same whole, but different. And okay, so all right, let's see. The UK, Great Britain loves Trump, says Jakey 007. All right, let me go to some of the comments on YouTube because I missed a bunch of those here.
Breaking news.
Redneck says, will the Senate shut down this farce of an impeachment? And hopefully,
yes.
The Senate will. These treasonous Democrats will rot in prison.
New poll out 3 minutes ago. Re-released it. It shows where the Democratic candidates stand not against each other, but against President Trump in a potential 2020 race. CNN senior politics writer and analyst Harry Enton is here to tell us how those Democrats are doing, and there's been some movement.
There has definitely been some movement, so take a look here. So this is our new poll right now, folks, our new poll. And what do we see? We see Joe Biden up by 5.
There's been some movement.
Like a bow.
Like if you just had some of that good Metamucil.
Or a nice colon
points,
cleanse.
49 to 44 over Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders up 49 to 45 over Donald Trump. Elizabeth Warren well within the margin of error, just up a point. And Pete Buttigieg actually down a point, but again within the margin of error. Now take a look at how that compares to October. Back in October, Biden was up by 10, so his lead has been cut in half. Bernie Sanders was up by 9. His lead has been cut more than in half. And Warren was up 8, and now she's only up 1. And Buttigieg was up 6, and now he is down 1. This is massive movement towards the president of the United States, at least in our poll at this particular point.
Do we have any sense of why?
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah, okay.
Do we have any sense of why?
I'm going to tell you why. It's called the American people are done with your crazy circus. They're tired of the clowns. They're tired of the noses. They're tired of being dragged through the mud because when they wake up every day, they gotta put diapers on. They gotta take their kids to school. They're going to soccer practice. They got their boss yelling at them. They're trying to clip coupons and save 50 cents on a bag of chips, baby. They don't care about this. And they know that because the Democrats are doing this and the economy is fine and life is fine and gas prices are down and people can find jobs and you guys know, again, we're homesteaders. We want you to but I'm saying that the average American is like, my life is fine. What's your problem? What are you doing? That is what the average American is saying.
Let me translate to what she just said there. Do we have any reason as to why? Add to that, behind that is the sentence, we fed them every line. We told them what to think. We told them how this process was going.
Exactly.
We explained it all to them. We lied to them. We are the only ones that disseminate information. They should be believing us. They have no reason not to believe us. Why aren't they?
Will you bring up what I wrote in the top of this article? It's on Facebook. I don't want to have to bring up my Facebook here on this computer.
I understand.
All right. USA Today poll, impeached or not, Trump leads his Democrat rivals for another term. Now remember, we just saw CNN say, he's only leading Pete Buttigieg, but he's within the margin of error on Elizabeth Warren. But no. USA Today, which is incredibly far left. I read it because I get the Inquirer, Cincinnati Inquirer, and they always have a USA Today segment. It's total lefty bunk. But anyways, President Donald Trump, the first modern president to face impeachment during his first term in the White House, except for Clinton, was he not modern? Now leads his top Democrat rivals in his bid for a second. The national survey taken as the House Representatives, we talked about that, planned impeachment vote.
When did you Facebook that? It's been a couple days?
Been a couple days.
Okay.
Showed Trump defeating VP Biden by 3 percentage points. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders by 5 points, and Massachusetts Elizabeth Warren by 8 points. Now, I believe that the USA Today's polls are even rigged. That means Trump is literally taking dynamite and fishing with dynamite, and the fish are all floating to the sky, to the surface.
I thought you were going to say he's taking them to the cleaners.
In the hypothetical head-to-head contest, Trump also leads South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg by 10 points and Michael Bloomberg by 9. Polls taken nearly a year before an election are hardly a reliable indicator about what the eventual outcome will be, especially when the other nominee hasn't been chosen. But the findings do indicate that impeachment hearings detailing what critics see as Trump's violations of the Constitution and his oath of office haven't undermined his core political support. And in fact, he's pushing people over the edge. Literally, we have today, this week, we have, which one is it? I'm gonna say we got a Democrat turned Republican. I gotta find the
that's really awesome.
The article on that. This is absolutely crazy. Jeff Van Drew, Democrat in Trump country. Okay, we call it Trump country. Remember the House flip, because people, in my opinion, aren't really partisan. They could vote for President Trump as a Republican, and then, hey, I like how the representative is a Democrat. That shows to me that the American people aren't partisan.
Right.
The left wants you to be partisan, but a lot of people who voted straight down the ballot or voted in Republicans for Trump, and it happens, well, we've seen it happen. The House usually kind of flips because people have this sense of kind of the underdog or the balance of power, and we're kind of trained that way, like dogs, and Pavlov's dogs to
answer to the bell.
Do these things.
Yeah.
And so some people, the areas that voted for Trump, some of these places voted in a Democrat as their House representative.
Yeah.
Okay. Not in the Senate. The Senate picked up a couple seats, but the House kind of flipped, and that's kind of how it goes. But this guy, Jeff Van Drew, was so fed up with the impeachment farce that he switched to being a Republican. Absolutely crazy. The newest Republican congressman, Jeff Van Drew, meets here with President Trump, VP Pence, and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy at the White House. Van Drew confirms he switched parties and talks about how Democrat Party officials pressured him to vote for impeachment. I actually had a meeting with somebody about 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, Van Drew says, and the individual was a local county chairman in the Democrat Party, and he sat down and says, I just want to tell you something. And he said, I wanted to tell you that you can't vote against impeachment. And I said, what do you mean I can't vote against impeachment? He says, you can't vote against impeachment. You will not. I have 8 counties. You will not get the line. You will not get the county. I will do everything to prevent that from happening and everything to destroy you. And it kind of hurt because for years I have given everything I could to the people in my district. Van Drew goes on to talk about how far left Democrats pushed against his bills involving flying the American flag and allow the words "In God We Trust" on buildings in New Jersey. I talk about American exceptionalism. This is the greatest country on the face of the earth. I started out as not a wealthy kid, had the opportunity to work hard, to go to dental school, and graduated. And my God, I'm sitting here next to the President of the United States. That's unbelievable. That's America. Van Drew goes on to rip the New Deal, advocating for low taxes and a balanced budget, honoring our first responders and veterans, and wraps up by channeling Reagan's "I didn't leave the Democrat Party, let me."
Boom. Massachusetts.
We're going to play a little bit of this.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, thank you very much. We have a very big announcement. To me, I think it's been many years. I hear
Insane.
10 years, maybe more.
This is insane.
Where Jeff Van Drew, highly respected. In fact, I didn't know as a Democrat how you could have won in that district. I know the district very well, but that is a great tribute to you. But Jeff will be joining the Republican Party, and we were very fortunate. He voted our way yesterday, as you probably know, and we had a totally unified party. I don't think there's ever been a time where the Republican Party was so united. But Jeff will be joining the Republican Party, and I really, to me, it's a very exciting announcement. I think, Kevin, you said it was about 10 years since that's happened. Yeah. And I don't even know who the last one was. It would seem to be it was even more than that. But it's a big deal.
It's a very big deal because he's going from the majority to the minority. And he normally doesn't go that way.
Yeah, but he's very smart because he knows it's not going to be the minority for long. I have a feeling we're going to do very well.
He just said it. That was kind of like a missed high five.
November 3rd,
I wasn't
to be
high
exact.
fiving
Get out and
you,
vote.
but you thought I was.
But, Jeff, thank you very much. It's a great honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
You'd like to say something?
So I have a few words, and I usually never ever, I don't read speeches, and this won't be very long, I promise you, Mr. President, but I had a few bullets. There's a few points I really wanted to make today. And I would start with how this started. I've been a Democrat for a lot of years, and I actually had a meeting with somebody about 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, and the individual was a local county chairman in the Democratic Party. And he sat down and he said, I just want to tell you something. And he said, I want to tell you that you can't vote against impeachment. I said, what do you mean I can't vote against impeachment? He says, you can't vote against impeachment. You will not, I have 8 counties in my district. You will not get the line. You will not get the county. I will do everything to prevent that from happening and everything to destroy you. This is a pretty young guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty
wise
gutsy.
guy.
And it kind of hurt because for years I have given everything that I could to my people in my district. And you know, Mr. President, you asked why I win. Truthfully, because I'm a crazy man, and when people have a problem, when they need something, when we want to help them, I have the best staff in the world, good people around me, and we do everything that we can to make it better. And that kind of hurt. And it kind of made me think a little bit, is this what I really want to do? Because there were other times in my life when I thought about this. I thought about it when I did legislation, actually it was in the state senate. And I don't know if this is going to be relatable or not, but I want to say it anyhow because I've always wanted to just mention this because I think it's important in a way. This was not a complex bill. It was not something that was, very difficult to understand. It isn't intellectually stimulating to some people, I understand. But I did 2 bills. And one of them, it's unusual for New Jersey, would allow in any public or private building to have "In God We Trust" on the wall. And the second one was that you could fly the American flag wherever you wanted to, however you wanted to, as long as it was respectful. And I thought these were wonderful bills. I mean, I thought everybody was going to be, this is just a great thing. And I had some very progressive, and not all Democrats, but these were really progressive Democrats that came to me and said, we're really disgusted with you. And I said, why? Making such a big deal about the flag. The flag's just not that big a deal. In God we trust. It's not that big a deal, and you shouldn't even mention his name. And I was shocked. I was shocked. We put him up anyhow, and we did what we wanted to do, but it really...
It's a very Republican thing, by the way.
I know.
You're not going to find any one of us that, I can tell you, Kevin, Mike, I think you're okay with it, right?
And I think most folks should be okay with it.
The whole country should be okay with it.
You're right. I talk about American exceptionalism. This is the greatest country on the face of the earth. I started out as not a wealthy kid, had the opportunity to work hard, got into dental school, graduated, and my God, I'm sitting here next to the President of the United States. That's unbelievable. That's America. So I don't want anybody to ever tell me that there isn't American exceptionalism. I don't want anybody to ever say that this is the same as every other country in the world, because it is not. It is not. And you know that, and I know that, and hopefully everybody in this room knows that. And again, from certain groups of people that represented certain parts of the party, I was criticized, and they said this country is the same as every other country, and there is no such thing as American exceptionalism. I'm a capitalist. Socialism, in my opinion, has no place in the United States of America, and I think everyone should know that. I believe that this country can afford people opportunity and give them that opportunity so that they can succeed, and we all should know that as well. I love bipartisanship. Do you know that I've even had times, quite frankly, being a Democrat, again, not from all folks, there's some middle-of-the-road folks, but from some of these extreme folks that they said bipartisanship is a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing because it's going to make you more like a Republican. Again, I don't believe that. I don't think you do.
Isn't that interesting?
Wearing a tooth lapel pin?
Yeah, he is. Cause he is.
That's nice. That's sketchy.
But what he said is really true there. Because you always see, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, you see the Republicans bending over backwards to the point where they're weak.
All the time.
And limp. But very few Democrats would bend over. I'm going to play a couple more minutes because this guy's intriguing.
No, he's great. I like him.
Even what you're doing with the economy, it's a better, stronger economy.
A new record today, but it's up 125 points today, so your 401ks are way...
So... the Bible says don't let another, don't praise yourself.
Don't praise yourself. Let somebody else do it, Trump.
But Trump does this thing where, like, if somebody says something nice about him, he takes it to the next level.
But you know why I think, though, pause real quick. I think that in Trump's mind, actually, when he says it's we, he really means we.
Yeah,
and that's why he's allowed to, that's why he allows himself to say it, because he's actually saying we, the American people, our economy, because of all of you supporting me, this is what's happening.
Yo.
It's a compliment to all y'all.
Today, Jeff, so that's great.
And thank you for that. I believe in the new Green Deal is something that we should never, ever even think about doing. I don't even know how anybody could bring that up. We can have a strong and good environment, and we can have a good economy at the same time, and that's something that I think Republicanism represents. Lower taxes, balancing the budget, honoring our police, our fire, our rescue, our veterans, our soldiers, these men and women. I want to tell you one quick story. Chris will have a picture of it. He's, like I said, he's a Marine. An older gentleman, and is he a Marine too, that stood out there? He's a Marine, right? An older gentleman, when he heard I announced, in the cold, came in front of my office and stood out there holding me right up. We can have a strong, good environment. It was an amazing thing. And not quite the length of time people wait for you, but
okay.
That was still pretty neat.
That's okay.
Pause right there. We have a star in the chat. Dominique, I will never get your last name right.
Oh my gosh! The most famous person in Poland! Hello, Dominique! What is going on in Poland? Will you come on our show? Will you tell us what is going on in Poland? We love you. We share your videos all the time. You are by far one of the most amazing politicians in the world.
I hope he's still there because I just saw the comment. I don't know when it was
I love this man. Dominic Tarzinski.
That's good.
I believe that's how you say his last name. This guy is the guy that you see in the video standing up for Poland. We are a Christian nation. We're not bringing in refugees. We will help the people in their countries where they're at. Poland is great because of Dominic Tarzinski.
Now, here's the funny part. Just because he's in our chat, then you're asking him to come on our show.
I know.
You could message him and ask him to come on our show.
I thought he's too busy, honestly. He's got so much going on. He goes on this guy is amazing. This guy is so amazing.
On Facebook, for those of you on YouTube or on Periscope, you have no idea who I'm talking about. But on our Facebook, we are streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, and on YouTube right now. And Dominic is, and I hope he's still there.
Will there be a poll exit? That's the question.
That is the question.
That is the question. Oh my gosh.
You literally,
he is a star.
You're scaring people. He is a star. He's a star in our book.
He's amazing.
You're literally starstruck.
I am. I love this guy. I love him. And we love Poland, by the way. We love right now. What's interesting, and I'm just going to take a second here. What's interesting about Poland is when I watch people like on Twitter, they're posting videos of Poland.
Yeah,
and they're saying things like, "Look at Poland is safe right now.
It's beautiful.
Poland doesn't have any cement blockades around their Christmas market. They're a happy Christian country." They're not having the rapes that Sweden is having. They haven't had a terrorist attack at all. Okay? Their people are safe. They're starting to encourage people to have families. They're paying for people to have families. I love Poland. We all need to get behind Poland. We have so much Polish stuff here. Let's hold up our little hussar there. We
have a lot of Polish viewers. And a lot of Polish support.
They send us stuff.
And they send us things, which takes forever to get here.
And we now know a lot about Polish history because we have been sent.
I thought you were going to say we know a lot of Polish. Like, we don't really.
No, we don't know any Polish. But we know a lot of Polish history, which we did not know before, thanks to our viewers. So anyways, I love that Dominic's here. Come back on Sunday when we do our UK show. And we would love to have him on our show. Maybe we'll work on that. We'll pray about it. Get him on pray to get him on our show. It'd be fantastic. All right.
I'm sure he would do it.
That'd be awesome. All right. So, okay. There's a lot going on today. Where do we want to go? Last night, by the way, guys, there was a Democrat debate. You may not have known about it.
Because you were at our channel watching our amazing program that has not had very many views, but should have.
We're gonna cover
the treasonous
we're gonna
cabal,
cover a
Barry
little bit,
Jones,
a little bit of that.
The best interview we've ever done ever.
So wanted to. This was on the 16th. Here's Donald Trump. I'm going to read this again on Sunday. Here in America, it will be the same victory as Brexit, but even more so. In the U.S., while all of this has been going on, the impeachment, the obstruction, the resistance, President Trump has managed to deliver not just promises, but a record, which adds up to one of the most successful presidencies in history. Just in the last few days, incredible job numbers, giant trade deals, help for working families, and much more. Over the last 3 years, unemployment falling. Earnings rising, criminal justice reform, the heartland revived, energy dependence, manufacturing resilience, illegal immigration coming down, the wall going up, China confronted, the caliphate defeated, NAFTA renegotiated, our military built, NATO paying more, regulations costing less, and much, much more. This is why they're impeaching him. They hate the fact, above all, that this president is delivering substantial policy results for working Americans who put him in the White House, and they can't beat him in a fair fight next year. That is Steve
Hilton X.
Steve Hilton, at Steve Hilton X on Twitter. I guess on Fox News. Thank you, Steve. That's what. So I wanted to share that with you. Some of here's a commercial break. Every once in a while we do something.
I need to make sure the lighting's good so they can actually see.
Every once in a while we try to bring in some fun stuff. All right, so
this is breaking news.
This is breaking news. This has had 16.4 million views on Twitter. Now, I want you to watch this, and now the amount of trees that will be saved from wrapping. I literally wrapped a whole bunch of presents and threw away a ton of paper that I couldn't fit. And everybody's on Twitter is like, oh my gosh, I feel so stupid. How does this work? Is this some sort of magic?
It's witchcraft.
How did I know? How many trees could I have saved? So let's save the trees. And if AOC cared about the trees, she would have shared this by now. I don't think she did.
I agree.
Because this would save the trees. Because you know if you put up all the millions of rolls of wrapping paper.
Here's the thing about AOC though. With AOC, she would, in order to save the trees, she would tell you, you know what? You're going to hell, a place I don't even believe in, if you even wrap presents. Like, you shouldn't even wrap presents.
I don't know. There's my commercial break. So there's your tip for the day. There's your tip for the day. All right. Okay. They're peeling off like cheap paint. Democrat Colin Peterson in Minnesota is a no. I don't agree with this. Okay, you ready?
The biggest problem I have with this is that you have people that have decided they're going to impeach him. And now they spent a year trying to figure out how they can make a case for it. That's backwards. You know, I just don't agree with this. I just, I would say if you did a poll in my district, over half the people in my district think we shouldn't do foreign aid in the first place. Okay? So to convince them that, holding up foreign aid is, a big deal, they want to get rid of it. So, we don't have any first-hand information about what happened on that phone call. It's all second-hand information. The whistleblower was second-hand information. The president is not committed a crime.
Who he is.
Exactly.
It's a completely secret whistleblower.
Eric Carmilla.
Okay, here's Charmilla. So, Leah, did you want to read your thing or do you want me to read it?
Go ahead,
I'm going to read your thing. My enemies have set a trap for me. I am weary from distress. They have dug a deep pit in my path, but they themselves have fallen into it. Psalm 56:7. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know this was impeachment eve. This was written on the eve of the impeachment. A constitutional push button in emergency only provision is now being used to overturn the 2016 election result. Tomorrow, after the fastest and most one-sided hearings in modern history, where the Democrats refused to allow Republicans to call witnesses or make a defense, the House will vote on whether to impeach Trump or not. We now know that they did. If passed, it will die in the Senate, and Trump will come out stronger than before because the American people, many of whom don't like Trump, can see through the political farce and know that the Democrats are only doing this because they know they will lose in 2020 and most likely the House with it. The 2 articles of impeachment are not named in the Constitution as impeachable offenses. Nancy Pelosi, when asked why they are moving so fast, said, "It's not fast. We've been working on this for 2.5 years. Yes, folks. Out of one mouth, they say it's because of an August 2019 phone call over military aid to the Ukrainians. But everyone knows they've been trying to get Trump since he was elected. Their Russian collusion hoax insurance policy fell through. And on to Ukraine. Also, Michelle, that's me, was telling Leah that I couldn't sleep the past 2 nights and had a premonition about something. Leah says, tomorrow the House of Representatives will vote to impeach Trump. They will most likely have the votes they did. The Senate will acquit and Trump will actually get more popular as a result. So there is a silver lining, but the demonic forces at play here are moves and counter moves. This is a spiritual game of chess. We as believers need to pray for God's truth and justice to prevail. Trump is not a perfect man, but he is being led by God to uncover the dark things of our government and that our government has been doing for the past 100 years. We are premiering a video interview, which we did last night, and it's absolutely God. Author and historian Barry Jones explains to us the treasonous cabal around JFK, who ultimately took out Kennedy because he wouldn't play by their rules and threatened their power. The parallels between JFK and Trump are astounding. Those same forces are working overtime to take out Trump, the FBI, the CIA, the deep state, military, industrial complex. So pray, not in fear or worry, but battle-ready confidence. God is doing something very good in this country. God is exposing the devil, but he's not going to go down without a fight. The media and the Democrats are Haman in the story of Esther who set out to destroy God's people. We, God's people, have to now spiritually fight for our lives, but they will fall in the trap that they built for us. The media doesn't hate Trump. They hate us. God-fearing, gun-loving, self-sufficient Americans. It's time we took our country back. Impeachment Eve, you are sensing a spiritual earthquake. We can turn it around to victory. In fact, we must. We are called to this moment in history to take back our country in the spirit realm. We didn't ask for this fight. They brought it to us. But we will finish it by the power of God, by the power of the living God, Jehovah. Not today, devil. This is God's country. Our founders were led by God to set up the New Jerusalem, a shining city on a hill. We've sat on the sidelines and let the devil run ramshod over this country for too long. We are taking it back by the power of the blood of Jesus Christ. The government of America will be upon his shoulders. The gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Go back to your pit where you belong, devil. God has called upon us in this moment in history to turn the rudder and put us back on course. Well said, Leah. Boom. Thanks for letting me read it, because that was really fun. That's right. That dance that you're doing right there is not awesome. I'm not quite sensing that. It's more like a little tiny galloping on a horse thing. There you go. That's a little bit better. I'm feeling that one more. Because there's a party going on.
All right, so it's good to see, Don Jr. puts this out, it's good to see constituents coming active when partisan Democrats are just voting with a party line and not based on truth and facts. Constituents here hammer Democrat Representative Slotkin as she tries to explain her support Slotkin as she tries to explain her support for Pelosi's impeachment scam.
Walk you through my logic. And I know it's clear that we don't all agree, but I'm going to walk you through my logic in an attempt to be transparent. And I knew from the very beginning that this was going to be a controversial decision, right? That was something I understood from the very beginning. But for me, it was something that was important to do.
Sounds to me like your people don't want to listen to what you have to say.
Remember, there are many Democrats. I think there's one that's like 18 or 20 Democrats who flipped the seats in Trump places that people voted for Trump. They wanted Trump as president, and those people are mad,
angry, hornet's nest.
And good for them.
Do not wake the hornet's nest. You know what? Sometimes it's fine if you just let them lie, let them be. And now you done got them angry.
Text between. I just want to go over this one more time. So keep these in your brain, in the back of your head. Text between top FBI agents Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. The White House is running this. Trump's not ever going to be president, right? No, he's not. We'll stop it. It's like an insurance policy. POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. I say that because James Comey said that all of this happened 7 layers below. 7 low, yeah.
You know what I want right now? Brass. You just said 7 layer. We could go for a 7 layer nacho dip salad right now. Oh my goodness. With nachos and lettuce and sour cream and beans.
However,
tomato, lettuce.
Trump tweets this out. Wow, in a stunning rebuke of the FBI, the FISA court severely chastised the FBI for the FISA abuses brought to light in the recent Inspector General's report. There were at least 17 significant errors. Statement by the court was long and tough, means case was a scam. Mike Cernovich says, fire Chris Wray. The FISA court itself issued a scathing rebuke of the FBI saying, you fooled us and you lied to us. So right now, there is a comprehensive review of all FISA cases.
Yes.
All of them. 99% of them are approved because supposedly the FBI gives all exculpatory evidence, both sides, and the FISA says, well, hey, you've done your due diligence. Here's your a permission to spy on a U.S. citizen.
Right.
And the FISA court looks really bad right now.
They look bad.
Looks really bad. FISA court releases previously classified order, expands investigation to all warrants brought before the court by the FBI attorney Kevin Kleinsmith. Kevin Kleinsmith is FBI Attorney 2, Viva la Resistance. FBI Attorney 2, I am numb. FBI employee, I can't stop crying. FBI Attorney 2, that makes me even more sad. This is FBI Attorney 2. On Friday, the department... This is a nice little fuzzy. Sure. On Friday, the Department of Justice declassified an order from FISA Judge Collier, written on December 5th, on the fraud perpetrated on the court by Obama operatives. Unclassified. Here is the unclassified report. The FISA court also expanded its investigation to include all warrants brought before the court by the far-left FBI attorney Kevin Kleinsmith. The Hill reports. The FISA court that approved FBI surveillance on the former Trump campaign, Carter Page, that's where all this whole Russian collusion went, blah, 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 is now investigating other applications it received from one of the agency's attorneys accused of making an inappropriate change. Lied to the Page application. The review, which was announced in an order released Friday, hints at a comprehensive effort by the secretive court to reevaluate surveillance after the Justice Department Inspector General's report found errors in the Page application process. In the order written on December 5th and declassified Friday, the court requested that the executive branch identify all other matters currently or previously before this court that involved FBI lawyer Kevin Kleinsmith. The court also requested explanations of how the Justice Department and the FBI are ensuring the Kleinsmith submissions were accurate. The order goes on to ask for information as to whether Kleinsmith faces possible disciplinary action from the bar regarding the change he made in the application. He should be fired and taken to jail.
Of bar, which is a different kind of bar. We're going to talk about that later, right?
We have more.
Okay, before you get to Bill Barr later on. When we're talking about this FISA court, I think that it's so confusing. And so I kind of want you, if you can really quickly, to break down maybe a little bit more in detail.
Okay.
The FISA, no, let me make my point first, and then you break it down. My point is, we have people on the left that are saying, you can't shut, even people on the right, you don't want to shut down the FISA court. They're only operating on the information that they're given by the FBI, and they trust that explicitly. And so it's not their fault that the FBI came and brought them falsified information. And so then I'm like, wait a minute, well, if the FBI is that complicit in making this happen, why aren't people in the FBI being arrested right now?
Okay, so this
and the FISA court is supposed to do its own due diligence.
Federal Investigative Surveillance Act was expanded after 9/11 so that the government could wiretap and investigate and go through the emails of people they think are going to blow up another World Trade Center.
Sure.
To go after terrorists, not to go after political opponents.
Yeah.
All right? So with this FISA court has way too much jurisdiction. And in some cases, what I was hearing from Catherine Hedridge is she's
on CBS now.
Is saying, and some other people on CBS saying this. They may not have violated any laws to put them in jail because the law is too broad. It's too broad.
So we need to amend the law.
We need to rein it in. We need to rein in the FBI's ability to surveil United States citizens.
Now, I know that a lot of people out there want to trust and believe in the FBI, but I got to tell you something. If you go to the FBI and you tell them, you know what? Your powers are too broad. We need to rein them in.
They're going to be
the FBI is going to buck at that. They're going to be like, let me teach you a few lessons here. We actually run this country, and we have run this country since our inception. Okay, right. You don't take away our powers, because even if you take them away on the books, we still gonna do it anyway.
Exactly, J. Edgar Hoover right there. So this is very interesting. Side note: the presiding judge, FISA Judge Rosemary Collier, is to step down days after rare public rebuke of FBI. Will be replaced by another Obama-appointed judge. But she is presiding FISA Judge Rose Collier will be stepping down early due to health issues. Very interesting here. She has health issues. Will step down early as presiding judge and Chief Justice Roberts has tapped Judge James Boasberg to take over that role in the new year. Collier will apparently remain a FISA judge. Her term ends in March. On Tuesday, Rosemary Collier, the presiding judge on the FISA court, rebuked the FBI under Director James Comey for the abuse of the FISA court. Another side note is that the House Representative under Devin Nunes had sent information a while back to the FISA court about these abuses, but they didn't listen. They didn't read it.
Right.
And now they're like, oh, this is brand new from Michael Horowitz. That should get under your skin.
I kind of suspect, or I'm kind of suspicious when they tell me that anyone is sick after they rebuked the FBI. Kind of worries me just a little bit. Okay, because yesterday we did a video called The Treasonous Cabal, an interview with Barry Jones, who wrote this amazing book, and I'm going to keep plugging it as much as I want to.
Oh, there it goes.
we did this, and I'm thinking to myself, I have shared so much JFK stuff, and I have talked against the FBI and the CIA. I do kind of like want to watch my back now. I don't mean like a karate chop to the neck, which they did do when they took out witnesses that had actually seen JFK killed. They literally karate chopped them to the neck. That's a fact. Okay. That's how they died. I'm not worried about a karate chop to the neck, but I am worried about, like, that's why I eat food that we process.
Somebody was shot in the back of the head twice.
Yeah. I'm like, these people, they will stop at nothing. They will take you out. They will take you down. They have 7 ways from Sunday.
So let's go over some of these speeches explaining the craziness of the impeachment better than we ever could.
Oh, Jimmy Jordan. Do you know he's from Ohio?
Jimmy Baby,
he's from our state.
He's just an hour and a district an hour above us. Hey, Jimmy, what you doing?
Not that kind of noise.
Forgot about the facts and they forgot about fairness. 4 facts will never change. We have the call transcript. No quid pro quo. We have the 2 guys on the call, excuse me, who've repeatedly said there was no pressure, there was no pushing. We have the fact Ukraine didn't know aid was held up at the time of the phone call, and most importantly, Ukraine took no action, no announcement of investigation to get the aid released. But Democrats don't care. They don't care about the facts, and they sure don't care about the process. No subpoena power for Republicans, no Republican witnesses. During the depositions, Republicans were prevented from getting all their questions answered, but Democrats got every one of their questions. The witness responded to every one of theirs, but not Republicans. The chairman wouldn't let him in. Of course, the whistleblower.
You know, if I'm in there,
I would. You be amening.
I'd be like, I'd be in the back. I'd be wanting to sit in the back.
Have you ever been to a Pentecostal church? Because we grew up going to them. Okay. When somebody says something you like, you are amening, you are you are getting up, you might start dancing and shuffling your feet, and you might take off running. Okay? They should not allow me in a place like that when Jim Jordan is speaking. They'd kick me out. They would kick me out.
The anonymous whistleblower with no first-hand knowledge, bias against the president, who worked for Joe Biden, was never compelled to testify.
I'd be like,
the guy who started it all. This is really about the president's been driving these guys crazy because he's getting things done. He's doing what he said he was going to do. He's having results. Taxes have been cut, regulations reduced, unemployment at its lowest level in 50 years, the economy growing, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh on the court, out of the Iran deal, embassy in Jerusalem, hostages home from North Korea, and a new NAFTA agreement coming tomorrow. But guess what?
Amen, Jimmy.
When you drain the swamp fights back. And they started attacking the president before the election even. July 31st, 2016, they opened the Russia investigation. The FBI spied on 4 American citizens associated with the Trump campaign. The FBI took the dossier to the FISA court. The dossier they already knew was false. They took it to the court. They lied to the court 17 times.
17
Guess what? 3 days ago. 3 days ago on national television, even Jim Comey had to admit the FBI was wrong. And yesterday,
you were the head
1 day
at
ago,
the time?
the FISA court sends the FBI a letter and says, straighten up, get your act together when it comes to the FISA application process. Think about this. Think about this. The attack started then and they've continued right up till today. But I want you to think about something. The individual who said the FISA process was fine, the dossier was fine, the Russian investigation was fine, that same individual ran the impeachment process. That same individual staff met with the whistleblower. That same individual is the only guy in Congress who knows who the whistleblower is for sure. And that same individual released the phone records of the president's personal attorney, released the phone records of a member of the press, and released the phone records of a Republican member of the United States Congress. This process has been unfair, it's been dangerous, and it has been harmful to our country. Democrats have never accepted the will of the American people. Nancy Pelosi made that clear 4 weeks ago when she called the President of the United States an imposter. The will of we the people, the 63 million folks who voted for this guy and made him president in electoral college landslide. They've never accepted that fact. We are less than 11 months away from the election. Let the American people decide who should be president.
This is what is called Banana Republic. If this was happening in another country, U.S. would put on sanctions and say, you need to work out your election process. You're having coup. You know, it would happen unless they wanted the president out. They'd be like, oh, go, good job. You see what I'm saying? Oh my word, this is banana
Republic. I want to tell you, I'm concerned about one thing. And that is, we do know the way magicians work. We do know the way that all of these evil people work is they do a sleight of hand and they do a distraction. They say, look at this, look at this, look at this. Meanwhile, over here, they're doing this, right? So I feel like, because you have to ask yourself, why are they impeaching Trump? They had to know that it's going to make him sore in the polls. They had to know that the Senate is going to just throw this entire thing out, right? So why do it? A distraction.
It's also
a diversion for election fraud.
Well, there is that. And then they want to be able to go into 2020 saying, we impeached, he's impeached, he's impeached. But actually, he's going to wear it as a badge of honor.
Exactly. It goes against them. It's not in their favor.
Here we have a question to Nancy Pelosi. Before they brought in the articles of impeachment, they are asking, you yourself accused Trump of bribery. Why did you decide not to make bribery one of the articles of impeachment? Because that is actually in the Constitution as impeachable. Okay? It's called bribery and high crimes and misdemeanors. Now, I want you to watch your teeth here.
Self-accused him of bribery. Why did you decide not to make bribery one of the articles of impeachment?
I myself am not a lawyer. Sometimes I act like one. Not as often.
Hang on.
Make it small. They can still see it. It's fine.
Try it again.
No, this is worth watching in its entirety. Leah played this the other day, and I was just listening, and I'm like, she didn't.
Mark Meadows shared it, and he said it's not true. That's why you didn't include it.
No, but listen to the audacity of what she says here.
Why did you decide not to make bribery one of the articles of impeachment?
I myself am not a lawyer. Sometimes I act like one. Not as often as I act as a doctor. I practice medicine on the side without benefit of diploma, too. This is a decision that was recommended by our working together with our committee chairs, our attorneys, and the rest. So,
You yourself accused him of bribery. Why did you decide not to make bribery one of the articles of impeachment?
I myself am not a lawyer. Sometimes I act like one. Not as often as I act as a doctor. I practice medicine on the side without benefit of diploma, too. This is a decision that was recommended by our working together with our committee chairs, our attorneys, and the rest.
Weird flex there, somebody said, from Nancy Pelosi, but my favorite response, my very favorite response.
Wait, can we talk about that first?
No, you need this. You need this, because this is my favorite line of the entire week, maybe the entire month. Because Nancy's teeth were falling out of her mouth, and she didn't have time to think. Why? What? My president tweeted that out. My president tweeted out Mark Meadows, and he said this about Nancy Pelosi, because Nancy's teeth were falling out of her mouth, and she didn't have time to think.
In answer to the question, why didn't you actually include bribery in one of your articles of impeachment?
Oh my gosh.
And that right there. Now here's the thing.
This is the best way to go after your opponents, isn't it?
But
they're trying to take him down, cause him feel like he's saying that he needs to be killed because of treason.
No. They can't see this tweet because it's really bright on the screen.
Oh,
but
shoot.
This tweet no, they never can. It's okay.
Bring it up for them to see.
No, it's okay. They heard you say it. They understand it's there. All right. This right here, this tweet, is exactly why they impeached Trump.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with anything other than they don't like the way he acts. They don't like the fact that he doesn't act presidential. They don't like that he says all of the things that the rest of us are thinking, but we wouldn't say out loud. Okay? They hate that about him. He's uncouth. They don't like it. That's why they impeached him. You don't get to impeach somebody because they make fun of your teeth.
Here's the thing. If you could do that, wouldn't Jimmy Kimmel be off television? How come all these people can say, SNL can have all these horrible, awful jokes about Trump?
Right.
Say that Trump is Putin's, lapdog or whatever, and all these horrible things. But when Trump does it, this is his way of going on the attack. And if you're going to attack somebody, He doesn't do it. He always does it humorously. He's not mean-spirited. He makes jokes, and they're funny, and it makes people laugh, and that's what makes the left so angry.
Here's the deal. In defense of the people that don't like the way that Trump acts, the fact that he says these things, okay? It's one thing for Trump to actually say that out loud. It's another thing to think that you can impeach him for it, okay? Number two, you do realize that the left, not only do they say and do things far worse, let's look at Kathy Griffin holding up a head of Donald Trump having been severed, okay? They say and they do. Their actions are far more evil. I'm not talking about late night comedians. I'm talking about the things, the fact that they actually impeached Trump.
Right. And he
over
responds,
nothing.
But he
is so wrong. It is the epitome of evil and wrong. And you're going to have people that are in the middle of the road standing up and going, but he's mean in his tweets sometimes. So I can kind of understand where they're coming from.
We're going to discuss this with the Christianity Today article that's huge in the news right now, where we have the editor-in-chief of Christianity Today, it's a Christian magazine, having an article saying that Trump needs to be removed and that all of us who support President Trump are not going to have, we're horrible Christians and we don't honor our creator. My creator used humor against his enemies time and time and time again. My Jesus said to the Pharisees, you who are without sin, you cast the first stone. That was a sarcastic response. That was, hey, you know, that would be a Trumpinian response.
Okay, so actually, if Jesus had a Twitter, and Jesus tweets out to the Sadducees and the Pharisees, at Sadducees, at Pharisees, you are of your father the devil. And everybody's going to be like, oh no, Jesus, you wouldn't do that. That's not something Jesus would do.
Jesus said, where I go, you
cannot go. I'm going to heaven, and where I'm going, you ain't going.
He went into the marketplace and said, you have made my father's house a den of thieves.
And then he starts turning it over. He takes the time before he even does that. He gets real quiet, goes over, and he braids himself a whip. Then he takes that whip in there, and he just starts wham, 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 turning over tables and stuff. At least Trump's not doing that.
Okay. So, I mean, Paul Alexander the Coppersmith did mean much wrong.
The Lord repay him.
Ananias and Sapphira come up to Peter and they lie and they
lied to the Holy Spirit and boom, drop dead. He goes to ask Ananias's wife Sapphira comes in. Dude, is this how much you guys donated? That's how much we donated. The whole profits of our house. We are so awesome. Dude, the men that just carried your husband out are coming to get you. Boom. Lady goes down.
And so my point is not that Trump is some sort of crazy messiah, but what I'm saying is that to use humor and to go after your opponents in a verbal way, and you can tell if Pelosi were to work with Trump, he would praise her. If Pelosi was on his team, he would praise her. But when you attack him, he uses Twitter and he attacks back in a way that other people can understand. So we're going to kind of go on from there.
So I got to tell him something.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you in on one of the most top secret things here at Resistance Chicks, Isaiah 58 Ministries, and God's Little Acre that you will never hear us tell you this, but I'm telling you right now. There are evil people in this world, and we have family members. And probably about 12, 15 years ago, our mother started calling them poo-poo faces. And when we refer to them as poo-poo faces. Yes. That's not a play on S-H-I-T head. It wasn't. It was literally, she just started calling them poo-poo faces. They are the evil people. They're poo-poo faces. Now I want to show you just how much humor God has, because you're about to lose it when I tell you. I finally found a scripture. I've always been a little bit embarrassed, and it slips out when I'm talking to people. I'll just say, the poo-poo faces. And then I'm like, I just said that. I sound like I'm 12 years old. The poo-poo faces. Okay. But it's really helpful. It brings them down. Micah. I was reading in the Bible the other day. Malachi. Okay. 2:3. The New International Version, they all say the same thing. God says, because of you, I will rebuke your descendants, and I will smear your faces in dung from your festival sacrifices, and you will be carried off with it. He will smear your faces. They will be dung faces, poo-poo faces. I think that the American Revised Version or the New International Version or something should actually say poo-poo faces, so I really get my... Okay, that's how funny God is. He gonna smear poop and dung on people's faces and have them carried off with it. Yeah, he's funny. He says the Bible in Psalms, it literally says God laughs at his enemies. Trump is laughing at his enemies. Y'all people need to lighten up.
Because laughter just goes like a medicine.
So y'all can steal that.
After you,
you call him a
poo-poo face. The best thing to do is to make a joke about it.
You say the resistance chicks told me I can call you poo-poo face.
Okay. So Michael Tracy, a lefty, says, invade countries and false pretenses, don't impeach. Obama and Bush. Engineer coups to topple governments, don't impeach. Send weapons to murderous despots, don't impeach. Illegally surveil Americans on a mass scale, don't impeach. Temporarily withhold, but then disperse some military aid, impeach. So weird.
Wow.
But that's just a... Okay, so here we have... A congressman lists every crime and misdemeanor that Trump has committed, and it just will blow your socks off.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In a day heavy in verbal debate, I choose to use my time to enumerate in detail every high crime and misdemeanor committed by the President of the United States. I will do so now.
Yep, that's about it. This is great.
Gentlemen's time's expired.
Yield back.
And here's the thing. That's more humor. It's more humor. We are having so much fun. This is so much fun. You know, I saw a tweet yesterday that somebody had tweeted out, and they said it was a lefty person going like, this is the huge point. Where are we seeing the mass protests of Trump supporters over this? Like trying to say there aren't any. Nobody's protesting this. And I was like, my thought process was, honey child, are you serious right now? There's no mass protest because we all having a good time, and we don't have liberal tears, and we aren't having
Trump rallies.
We're not having meltdowns. Okay, no, that's the answer that you had to her actual thing. I'm just saying, I'm going off on a whole nother thing. I'm like, dude, are you serious? No, you're right. It is a huge point. It's a huge point that when y'all do something against us, we don't all go like crazy and need safe spaces and coloring books. Okay? We don't need to put masks on and get out like fake swords or, you know, throw grenades full of pee at like Millie Weaver. We don't do that. We don't have those reactions. So yeah, you're right. It's a huge point that there are not mass demonstrations. We're just having a good time. Good times be rolling, baby.
So Jerry Nadler, who heads this short little dwarf man who heads up the impeachment inquiry, accuses
he fell asleep.
Representative Louis Gohmert of spouting Russian propaganda on the House floor, and Gohmert from the back after he's done starts yelling. Returns to the podium. Oh, actually no, he returns to the podium and yells at him past his time.
Back on Ukraine, that happened in 2009 because in 2008 Ukraine invaded Georgia. What happened? Bush put sanctions on Russia to teach them a lesson. What happened after that? Well, in March of 2009, Hillary Clinton was sent over to Russia with a reset button to say, Bush overreacted. We're okay that you invaded Georgia. It was a green light to Russia to invade Ukraine. And what do? Oh, yeah, you send blankets and MREs they can eat and be warm while the Russians are killing them. That is what the Obama administration did. This is a travesty. And we're in big trouble because Schumer was right. Now, it's lowered even farther, the bar. It will be used for political battles, and this country's end is now inside. I hope I don't live to see it. This is an outrage. I yield back.
Okay, ready?
Gentleman from New York.
Mr. Speaker, I am deeply concerned that any member of the House would spout Russian propaganda
on the floor of the House. I now yield 1 minute to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Higgins.
The gentleman from New York is recognized for... The House will come to order. The gentleman from New York is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you.
The House will come to order. The House will come to order.
Oh my
You
goodness.
call me Russian propagandist right here on the House floor? Oh my gosh, these guys were hot under the collar.
Do not mess with Gomer.
Gomer.
Okay? It's Gomer. It's
Gomer.
G-O-M-E-R-T. Gomer.
Gomer.
I think it's like French. Gomer.
Gomer.
I bet he's French.
Gomer.
Gomer.
All right, okay, here we have a standing ovation from Representative Doug Collins for delivering his closing speech before the House impeachment vote.
He will put the American people first. He will tell them that I care about you. He will still put the economy first, and he will make sure this country stands strong. Madam Speaker, a few weeks ago, just off of this floor, I said that a dark cloud was descending upon this body. And today, because of the clock and the calendar, it is closing. It is amazing to me what I just heard from the majority leader, that Mr. Schiff and Mr. Nadler presented a compelling case for impeachment. If this is a compelling case for impeachment, I'm not sure why we're here right now. It is not anywhere close to compelling. But you know what is interesting is what I have heard today. The majority leader just spoke and said that if the president was given every opportunity to come prove his innocence.
He's reminding people that you don't come and prove your innocence. You're innocent until you're proven guilty.
I tell you what, Madam Speaker, let me have just a few minutes, stop the clock, and let me go around to the press corps and to everybody here, and I'm going to accuse you of something. You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. Now prove it's wrong. You did it. Guess what? You don't want to, because deep down you know that that's turning the entire jurisprudence of this country upside down. You are guilty. You're not guilty until you're proven. You're innocent. And today from this floor, we have heard the majority leader say this president is guilty and not the other way around. He is innocent, and these come nowhere close to proving it. But what is left of this body? Let's have an honest conversation, Madam Speaker. What we have found over the past few weeks is it is okay for the majority to tear down a foreign leader because they can't make their case. They've called him a liar or weak or worse, or as it was called in the committee, even look like a battered wife. It is below the dignity of this body and this majority to tear down a foreign leader because they can't make their case against this one. We have broken rules in this House, even to this moment. Chairman Schiff and the others have broken House Resolution 660 by not turning over the things that they should be turning over. I still have not got a transcript. We still don't know what we got. And the White House still has not got their stuff. I guess minority hearing rule days don't matter either. You see, there is a problem here because we're going to vote this tonight while breaking the rules. What a shameful incident. But we also found in creative interpretation of minority rights. We saw the rise of partisanship because of things that have been done even further. And we've even seen members smeared in reports by drive-by political hacks when they matched numbers of the majority or the ranking member and the members of the press. That ought to concern every one of you as much as it concerns every one of us. Nothing but a drive-by hit.
So Collins here called out the Democrat majority leader for disregarding House rules. The major one there was they actually were supposed to have a day where they could call forth their own witnesses.
Right.
And the Democrat majority leader said, well, it doesn't say when
that day has to be.
When that day has to happen.
And it can happen after the vote.
But you know something? This majority leader also just said, wherever law ends, tyranny begins. But I will say this, in this House, wherever the rules are disregarded, chaos and mob rule. actually began, and the majority has taken that to a new level. It has been said today, where is bravery? I'll tell you where bravery is found and courage is found. It's found in this minority who has lived through the last year of nothing but rules being broken, people being put down, questions not being answered, and this majority say, be damned with anything else, we're going to impeach and do whatever we want to do. Why? Because we won an election. I guarantee you, one day you'll be back in the minority, and it ain't gonna be that fun. Because when you look at it, when you actually trash the rules of this house, you want to really look at what did you gain at the end by trashing the institution you claim to love. That's the things we found out so far. But you know, they're really careful of saying, oh, you want to deal in process and process. As I said last night in the Rules Committee, where they didn't want to listen, I'll win on process and I will win on facts because we have the truth on our side. Let me remind you that here's what the process actually says. There was no pressure. Look at the call. President Zelensky, President Trump, no pressure. There was no conditionality. There was nothing done to get the aid, and the aid actually came. There were 5 meetings. But when you look at it right now, none of which matter. Because right now the dark cloud is descending upon this house. And I am fearful, Madam Speaker. When I look out in that abyss, I don't know what I see. But I tell you what I do see. I see coming up a president who will put his head down even through this sham impeachment, and he will do his job. He will put the American people first. He will tell them that I care about you. He will still put the economy first, and he will make sure this country stands strong. That's what I see in this abyss. That's where we're going. And Madam Speaker, it is with that hope in the future that I recognize right now that I yield 1 minute to the Republican leader of this House, the Republican from California, Mr. McCarthy.
So I gotta tell y'all something, okay? I gotta tell you while I'm watching that, okay? At that moment, and I had not seen that speech, by the way. I had seen clips of it, but I had not seen it in its entirety. That moment in the House where that guy gave that speech, do you know what it brings to mind? It brings to mind every Republican that stood against Trump in the very beginning. They all held their nose and they supported him against their better judgment, and they didn't want to do it. And they have continued to hold their nose until they were able to release their nose and realize that the air smells fresh. Actually, like President Trump. Okay? And now they are standing there and they have got their battle swords up and they are saying, backbone, baby! We are gonna fight for our president, the one that none of us wanted to start with, and we're gonna get behind him. And guess what? We like him better than we liked Carson or Ted Cruz or even Rand Paul. We liked him better. We like him now better than we ever would have liked any of those guys. And we are so gosh darn glad that he is our president and none of us wanted him to start with.
Because nobody wants to be behind a weak-kneed
and I yelled, and I'm sorry I yelled.
Jellyfish, namsy-pamsy weakling, okay? Trump has tried to prove himself, and now because he's proven himself, these Republicans are backing him. They are supporting him just like us.
And everybody has to get behind a team. Okay? And they need a team captain. And what the left has done, if they were smart, they would not have picked on Trump as much as they did, because you know what it made these people do?
Everybody.
It made them all get behind and say, fine, come on, give us this fight, because we will take you to the mattresses every single stinking day of the week.
And that's what you need. What they've done is they've united.
They have united everybody
and
behind
it's
Trump.
So magnetic that Democrats are leaving and they're like, I want to go over there. It's more fun over there. And we've been saying that since 2016. It's more fun over there. But now it's more than just that. Now that literally it's insane people over here. And like, I can't be with them. Democrats are dropping like flies, but you don't see Republicans dropping like flies. You do see a Justin Amash, who became an independent because he couldn't become a Democrat because he's part of the Freedom Stinking Caucus. Okay? He's supposedly like totally against socialism.
Yeah.
He's supposedly for all, he's supposedly just some sort of like almost libertarian, right?
Yeah.
But he hates Israel with a passion because his dad's Palestinian.
Okay.
And that's what really got him.
But what is so exciting watching this is it's like they have no idea what they have done in uniting people on the cause of righteousness.
So I want to show you this.
They shot themselves in the foot.
So here we have the White House giving these cards. Trump has engraved envelopes hand-delivered to Democrats on Capitol Hill with his letter inside to Pelosi inside. We all know President Trump is a master troll, but he topped himself this time. The White House on Wednesday dispatched some staffers to head up the Capitol. They brought with them beautiful cards and hand-drawn calligraphy on them. They look like Christmas cards. But inside the envelopes addressed to lawmakers were copies of President Trump's brutal letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. True story. There is a White House staffer going around the Senate delivering to each office as a package the incoherent, scathing Pelosi letter and, wait for it, a giant 16 by 12 White House Christmas card, along with implausibly a second smaller Christmas card. What a day, says Senator Chris Murphy.
Let me see this. Let me see this. Oh, it was going to get big. What happened?
We're making it big.
Okay.
We're clicking on it to make it big.
Here we go with Trump trolling people, man.
16 by 12.
Wait. Go back. I got to pull that up. They're not going to be able to see that very well from there.
Andrew, AOC says they're coming to the house too. No Christmas card here, but no coal either.
Christmas card to Dems? Is that what I should put?
Yeah.
Up and it might come
The
up.
White House staffers made sure they had one for Representative Alexander Cortez too. Oh my gosh, so funny. Right, Murphy responded to AOC's post writing, "I'm going to start making my new Christmas tradition. Send out my Christmas cards with an attached
wait, let me move
screw off letter listing all my grievances for the year." In the letter to House Speaker, you can bring it up. Trump ripped Pelosi and House Democrats for pursuing his impeachment. You are the ones interfering in America's elections. You are the ones subverting Americans' democracy. You are the ones obstructing justice, he wrote. This is nothing more than an illegal partisan attempted coup that will, based on recent sentiment, badly fail at the voting booth. You are not just after me as president. You are after the entire Republican Party. History will judge you harshly as you proceeded with this impeachment charade. I have no doubt the American people will hold you and the Democrats fully responsible in the upcoming 2020 election. They will not soon forgive your perversion of justice and abuse of power. Trump also blasted Pelosi for saying she was praying for him. You are offending Americans of faith when you say I pray for the president, when you know this statement is not true, unless it is meant in a negative sense. It is a terrible thing you are doing, and you will have to live with it, not I.
They're all too small. I can't bring it up. Every time I go to open one.
That line! Did you hear that?
You asked me to bring it up. I can't bring it up for them.
Forget it.
Okay.
She says to Pelosi,
okay,
you are offending Americans of faith when you say I pray for the president, when you know this statement is not true, unless it is meant in a negative sense. It is a terrible thing you are doing, but you will have to live with it, not I.
A negative sense, meaning you're praying to the devil, you satanic witch.
That's his Christmas card to Nancy Pelosi. And that's what I love about him. And this is a time for Christians. Listen, you guys, this is something that is near and dear to my heart. Okay? Because I grew up in an era of Christianity where we just love, and everybody's nice, and la 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 la, la 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 la, and when the bad people come at us, we're like, we're just gonna pray for you, okay? We're gonna just hope for like one of those Hallmark movies where like you totally turn around and you're just like nice at the end. The more nice we are to you. No. When somebody is at your door trying to rob you or rape you or steal from you, you don't welcome them in for milk and stinking cookies. You get out your shotgun and you they take a step at the door and you blow their stinking head off.
We could get taken off of YouTube.
No, that's not true. If somebody comes into break into your home, no, you're allowed to do this. It's called the castle doctrine. You are queen and king in your castle. That. You do in your own home. Everybody does in your own home, unless you're not allowed to own a gun.
No, like literally, there are states that don't have the castle doctrine.
I will help your legal bill if somebody comes in. You're allowed to defend yourself. Okay, but here's my point. The gospel of Jesus Christ. Yes, Jesus came to forgive you of your sins, and if you were a sinner, then repent or you're going to go to hell. Okay? That's John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believed in him would not perish but have eternal life.
Yes,
wonderful part of the gospel. One part of the gospel. The other part of the gospel is Isaiah 61. The other part of the gospel is Ezekiel 34.
Or I have not come to bring peace but a sword.
Jesus came to bring people together but to separate the sheep from the wolves, to stop the wolves from eating the sheep, to punish people, to hold people to account who are hurting people. And if you have hurt people, there are rules and there are laws. And if you have broken them, then God's not going to get you out of jail. You may go to heaven. He will forgive you. But you do the crime, you got to do the time. And I always say this, he never took the thief
off the cross
who repented on that day. He said, this day you'll be with me in paradise, but you have to take your punishment. But then it goes to the next level of the gospel. When you read Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel and all the prophets, God is talking about people who hurt people, and he says, I am coming, I am sending my son to protect my people. I'm coming them to bring justice and
coming to them.
Coming to bring justice and judgment.
Yes.
So stop hurting people or you're going to go to a bad place. I'm going to bring judgment upon you, okay? And so when we look at people hurting people, you've got to be the walking tall. Walk tall, carry a big stick. You've got to be the John Wayne. When you walk into a bar and you see somebody hurting another person, you got to be the one to step in and punch the guy's lights out.
And just don't go into bars to start with.
I'm talking about John Wayne Westerns.
Okay.
All right? Okay, I'm going to move on a little bit. All right. Just a little bit.
I would just like to point something out that in Matthew 13, when Jesus gives the parable of the tares that were sown with the proper seeds, the good seeds, guess who gets taken out and thrown into the fire first?
The tares.
The tares go first. And then it says, and when Jesus explains this to his disciples, he says, and then the good people, y'all people, my people that are left will shine like the sun. They will rejoice. Okay? So God is going to take out the wicked first.
All right, so what's going to happen next? Senate leaders signaled on Thursday that the details of the Senate impeachment trial will largely remain a mystery heading into the new year, as Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Minority Leader Chuck Schumer have failed to reach an agreement on the key details of the trial. Now remember, Trump is not actually constitutionally impeached until Nancy Pelosi hands over those articles of impeachment to the Senate. So technically, it's not a merry impeachment because Trump is not going into Christmas as an impeached president. Right. It's not an impeachment until, and that is actually from constitutional lawyer that the Democrats had sitting there to be interviewed during one of their meetings. Okay, he's not impeached yet in the House because the House hasn't handed over the articles of impeachment yet. Pelosi wants to just kind of hang on them, sit on them, use them for toilet paper. I don't know. The two leaders that had what McConnell described as a cordial conversation, lies, on Thursday, but confirmed that they remain at an impasse. McConnell said, as of today, however, we remain at an impasse because my friend, the Democratic leader, continues to demand a new and different set of rules for President Trump. We remain at an impasse on these logistics. Those logistical questions revolve around documents and witnesses, including acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and former National Security Advisor John Bolton, which Schumer claims are necessary to ensure a fair trial. McConnell is expected to consider Senator Schumer's proposal over the holidays. Senator Schumer has made clear to Mitch McConnell that the witnesses and documents are necessary to ensure a fair trial in the Senate. Senator Schumer asked Senator McConnell to consider Senator Schumer's proposal over the holidays because Senator Schumer and his caucus believe the witnesses and documents are essential to a fair trial. Remember, the House stonewalled everything that you're supposed to be able to bring up everything exculpatory in a trial,
right?
But instead they want to bring forth nothing that's exculpatory and everything that was kind of damning, they made up all kinds of witnesses. They brought in all kinds of people. Nobody was on the call. It was just a bunch of bunk, and we show that to you guys. And now Senator Schumer really feels like he's running this. Like, they have guts. They have gall. And the Republicans don't have that kind of
I think
gall,
they're getting it.
So we'll see where this happens.
So our friend Stefan on Facebook had written something today. I'm going to read it to you. Nancy Pelosi to the Senate. You can have my bag of goodies, but you are not allowed to open the bag of goodies. You just have to vote on whether you want to keep the bag of goodies or throw it away. The Senate throws away bags of goodies in a dumpster and then sets it on fire. Nancy Pelosi. Why did you not only throw it away, but you burned it? I would have kept it. The Senate. We didn't need to see inside of your bag of goodies to smell the dung it was filled with. And our friend Stefan really used the word dung because that's the kind of guy he is. But seriously, she's like, I got this bag of goodies. You can't open it. You have to vote on whether you want it or not without opening it. And then they throw it away because they can smell it before they even open it. They know what's inside of it. Come on, lady. Ain't nobody wants your bag of dung goodies. Time says new. We love you. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory.
If it's the truth.
All right.
And the gospel's the truth.
Merry Christmas to you. Good night, guys.